Good evening and welcome to another live stream. I need to put some music on because I always forget about that. Oh, that was very loud in my own headset. Let's just, come on. Okay. Hello. Well, you know, I said good evening because it's evening here in Denmark, but this might be morning, it might be late night, it might be afternoon. Whatever, I hope you're having a good time. And I hope that we will have a good time progressing this story of Want, our Fae Folk story. Yes. Yesterday, we ran into some snacks. Not snacks, like, no, a snack. So, where I had a bit of a, I guess you could say, a mix-up. Oh, you don't want to show that yet. There's no reason to. Well, maybe. As we realized, as we were moving forward in our Dan Harmon story circle for this story, that I hadn't updated it with what I actually wanted, how I actually wanted to mold it, you know, the story itself. So we had to fix that, and then we did begin with this time skip. It is raining. Carl has said a couple of months ago, a couple of moon cycles ago, which I don't remember if we actually said. We did say that. 2 moon cycles. Hello. And he sort of traveled, him and Gwilfane has traveled to the outskirts of the Realm Oak Forest. That might need a name. I feel like it should have a name, the forest. But I just don't really have any. Yet, at least. Maybe we'll figure a name out today. We were discussing the stone cairn as placed as a marker for the edge of the forest. And so, that's sort of where we left off. It's raining, the rain is pouring down. Carl, who is not a good survivalist, is trying the best he can. Has found some firewood, though it's probably quite soaked, probably not gonna work. And it's cold. We are in like March-ish, and the weather is like late February, early March, and it's raining. So cold winds and rain. Yeah. And so we ended with. Let's just have a little read, shall we? Just like the last paragraph, and then we'll get right into it. Carl had no doubt in his mind that this particular stone cairn was raised by the druids as a warning. Anyone who would dare to venture beyond would feel the wrath of the Fae Folk. This would in turn also mean, Carl had concluded, that he and Gwilfane found themselves on the very edge of the Realm Oaks Forest. As Carl passed the cairn with his soaked firewood, he speculated how many non-Faeans had defied the marker cairn. Probably don't want to say cairn so much. Marker stones. Let's say stones. What the hell? How is that an arrow? There we go. The marker stones. And how many Danlu and Krerun had taken care of themselves. Carl shivered by the thought, but it may just have been the cold rain that didn't seem to have any intention of stopping. Gwilfane was still lying in the shelter as Carl rounded the stone cairn. So he walked past the stone cairn here, and then we say he rounded it down here. I honestly think we just want to say as Carl arrived. So I know that we did the beautiful setup of ending in the middle of a word. If you follow my channel, you know that is the thing that we do in order to trick ourselves into getting started earlier. Well, that did not fix it. Carl arrived. No, oops. So we have also gone into a little thing about Gwilfane hunting and how that does not align with the Fae Folk and their diet. The Fae Folk tend to not kill for food. But Gwilfane, being a wolf, of course, he has to go hunting. And we sort of mentioned it a little bit. Like that has been some conflict with it. But yeah, so Carl here just straight up asked, no hunt today. Oh my god, stop. He asked the sleepy spirit bound. Will what's the word for like a sound? I want to say that in Danish it would be brumme, growl. Well, we could say that. Just go like he grunted, or like just making sure that it's a non-aggressive growl, right? How do we say that? Growl contently. Yeah. He growled with content. From just inside the simple shelter. And then we go like compare to compared to some of the earliest. Compared to some of the earliest. The pair have found themselves occupying. Had found... What the hell is happening with my writing? Oh yeah, also, look, my thumb is sort of healed. Yay! I mean, it's at least healing. I'm like Wolverine. Like, it's only been 2 days and it's already so much better. Wow. Wow, like an old senile Wolverine who doesn't remember he has healing, but you know. I think it's cool to be like Wolverine. The pair had found... Oh my freaking god. Aren't you supposed to be better at writing the more you do it? Actually, let me just... the short form video. Zero 12. I am Wolverine. Had found themselves occupying themselves occupying I want to say that the earlier shelters have been like almost houses compared to this one. I feel like this sentence doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Some of the earlier shelters. Yeah. We're gonna delete this. Oof. Look at how many mistakes we made just down this small area compared to this beautiful page of, don't look, almost no mistakes. The pair had found himself. Some of the earlier shelters. Some of the earlier shelters. Some of the earlier shelters the pair found themselves occupying had practically been full-on dwellings, full-on root dwellings. And we're done with page 112. So page 103. 103. Boop. In comparison. Wait, do we have... Oh, sugar. I thought autofocus was off. What the hell? What the hell? Stupid. Okay, I don't know if the first 15 minutes of this stream has been like just shitty shitty quality, and I am sorry if that's the case. Actually, I just need to. I forgot to put in the link, subscription link. Can I? Copy link. How does that look? All right. Follow my journey into fantasy writing. And wizard. There we go. And pin that message. There we are. It is important to get these things right, and it's also important to have this piece of paper behind, because this piece of paper is not thick enough for the ink. I guess you can sort of see it here, definitely down here where I made mistakes. It bleeds through if we're not careful. But it was practically a full-on root dwellings. Could you see that? Practically being full-on root dwellings in comparison. What? Ugh, I don't like that R. This R looked like I just started school. Which I haven't, by the way. In comparison. Especially when it rained like today. But Cal also knew that he couldn't complain. But Cal also knew that he couldn't complain too much. He was unsure. Oops. How he would have fared. If it hadn't been for the iron barks, its shelters of the iron barks. The shelters of the iron barks. Okay, so H is the letter that we can write today. That's good to know. Iron barks. We know how it changes from time to time. So we're actually still on the same. Paragraph here. So he's talking to Gwilfane. That's nice. Well, maybe we also can write E's today. It's great. That's nice. Do you think? Do you think El Guero, welcome. He says hi. What we on today? Well, we are straight from yesterday. So yesterday with the stone cairns and everything, and it's raining. I haven't done anything else until we started up the stream. So Carl has just arrived back with Gwilfane, who was just inside the shelter, and right now he's gonna ask him to help him light a fire somehow, and then Sanawinth and her spirit bound is gonna enter the story. And hopefully we can get most of that done today. I hope that it really isn't that the conversation between Sanawinth and Carl will not be quite as long as the one between Carl and Dantlu. So we can go ahead into some more actiony sequences before ending the story, actually. I don't know, maybe we're like halfway through the story. That's probably right, something like that. At least in my head. So I was thinking we want to say like something, Carl being a little snarky that Gwilfane is just lying there sleeping. So it would be something like, you think your highness can help me, but a Fae Folk, a Faean wouldn't call someone highness. They don't have kings. So that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. They have druids. The elder druids is the leaders, both religious and society-wise. But I'm also thinking that if Carl sarcastically, if Carl calls Gwilfane elder druid, we have to make sure that it says like he said sarcastically. But your sanctity, perhaps? Yeah. Sanctity is not bad. I just need to make sure it's what I think it means, sanctity. Yes, that's not bad. That's not bad, El Cuervo. You know, with yeah, it means His Holiness. Yeah. Yeah, let's go with it. Let's go with it. Thank you. That's cool. does his... That's also like... Oh. Sounds like really religious. That's cool. That's his sanctity. That's a C. Sanctity. Think he can help with setting out a fire. Now that he hasn't spent energy hunting. Hasn't spent energy. Ooh. Energy. He said. He asked sarcastically. I'm still gonna sarcastically. I'm still gonna drive that point home that it's sarcastically just to make sure. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Sanctity. Now, I will say it does sort of require that sanctity is used in like everyday speech for the Fae Folk, which it might be. I haven't figured that out, but I need to decide if it's a word that I think fits. But right now, I think it does. How was the how was your revision, your corrections of your first chapter, by the way? Was it did you finish it yesterday? I have my average size mug with me, of course. For a tiny boy like me. It's just water though, even though it says Coca-Cola Zero. I'm not sponsored. I wish I was. Whoops. The large wolf the large wolf shook his head and rolled over to the other side, faking sleep. Over to his other side. His other side. I'm doing this second now. Good, it's done. Okay, cool. Congratulations. So you're straight on to the second chapter. So how much have you actually written? Have you written the whole book and just like going through the chapters, revising them, correcting them, or are you like done with the first chapter and now you moved on to the second chapter to writing? Whoever also says, and I really like this one character that I introduced here, Gaily the Bibliothecarian. No, I'm just starting. Okay, nice. So is that like a Gaily the Bibliothecarian? What do you like about him? And also, how do you have a process for making characters that you go through, even if it's just side characters or main characters? The large wolf shook his head and rolled over to his other side. Faking sleep, but still opening one of his dandelion eyes of his dandelion eyes every now and then. And then thought so. Carl followed up. Rather annoyed. He was not in the mood for any of his spirit-bound antics. He was not in the mood for any of his spirit-bound antics. Spirit-bound. With the weather being what it was, with the weather what it was. I think I can feel I'm gonna need a new ink cartridge soon. I don't know if you can see it. It's this is supposed to be black. It's empty. Whoever says, for characters, I mostly just pick a theme and build the personality and world build around it. As for Gailey, I just enjoy the challenge that is writing timid characters and make it interesting. Ah, cool. Yeah, I have an entire like template that I use. Let's see I have this background document, and then I have like quick facts that I want to showcase. Of course, naming brainstorm, and then I go through like their appearance, their belief, their temper, their values, their needs, desires, goals, fears and insecurities, giant quirk. I'm a big fan of anime, and one of the things that manga does with the characters is that they have some sort of giant quirk that usually is a hindrance somehow, but it could also just be weird and strange. So for Carl here, is that he's an exceedingly bad singer. It doesn't really have much to do with the story. It's just something I thought would be fun to have. And actually, he prefers to walk around barefooted. He also prefers... I've come up with that later. To walk around barefooted whenever possible. But yeah, I feel like... And then I have like family and background. I do that for all of the main characters, and then for side characters it's not as long. There's like appearance and background and a little bit of motivation. That's sort of it. But this really helps me get into the minds of the characters. And as I was saying before with anime and manga, it sometimes also, the giant quirk sometimes like that becomes a conflict or a plot point. Like you have Luffy in One Piece, who's a pirate or wants to be the world's best pirate, but he can't swim because of the devil fruit. I think it's called, right? Please correct me on that, or forgive me if it's not wrong. If it's wrong, I think that's a really fun conflict quirk. And then you have Full Metal Alchemist. You have Edward, who, like, he just ignites with rage anytime anyone calls him small, but he is small of stature. Like, that's not a conflict quirk, but it is just a fun way of rounding out the characters, right? So that's what I do, and I think it really, really works. I'm not sticking to it 100%. Like you just saw that I added the barefoot thing. A little bit of a nod to Lord of the Rings with the hobbits, right? But that's just sort of like that. I think thinking about these things makes it easier for me, at least, to write. It makes it easier to just come up with stuff. Like, I know how the character will react in these types of situations because I've already written it down, you know. So that's a little bit of a tip. It does take a while though. I learned it from when I studied web design, and we had to write personas for people, for potential like fantasy people, not fantasy as in, but like imaginary people who would use a website or a product, and you had to write like a full-on persona. But it's a cool thing. I really enjoy it, even though it can take a while to do. Character personas plus anime slash manga. I think that could be a fun short form video talking about how the animes and mangas does the characters and the giant quirk thing. But yeah, I agree with you, El Cuervo. It is actually quite fun writing characters that is different from how you would normally make a character, right? So you're saying like Gailey here is a timid character, and I'm guessing you've written another character like who's quite headstrong and, you know, the hero of the story in chapter 1, or introduced him in chapter 1. The weather being as it was. Right. Sorry, I was just checking my document for Sentiment, actually. The Cuervo says, yes, Milo. He isn't also that headstrong, but he will get worse after the character arc goes through him. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing about you have to be a little bit of a sadist, right? When you're writing. A little bit of a sadist. And what I mean by that, I saw Brandon Sanderson talk about that. Because when you write characters, you very often comes to like them, you know? You pour so much love into writing them. And a good story calls for conflict, and a good story calls for... what's it called? Like that things goes against the characters one way or the other. Plans don't work, they get injured or something along those lines. And that's difficult to write. I found myself, like, I knew in Fly what I wanted to do with Furusu fairly quickly, but when it came to writing it, I was actually a bit like, my heart was pounding. So that wasn't fun. So I want to say here, like, he's looking around. This is the first night or first day or night, whatever. It's been raining at this particular shelter, and they've been there for like a week or something. And the other shelters had been more accommodating for fires. Now, I'm no survivalist myself, so I don't actually know how to build a fire in the rain. So I'm hoping that I can somehow skip that, how you do that. But yeah, I'm just thinking, like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense as this is the first day that it has rained there. It is end of February, beginning of March, and if it's anything like Denmark, which is sort of the temperate climate that I'm thinking, that means it rains a lot. And so what have they done with fire the other days they had been there? It depends on the kind of wood you use and how you place it. Yeah. I'm guessing the fire would also need some sort of shelter. Maybe we can look it up. Lighting a fire in the rain. Hello, Reddit from 11 years ago. Oh my god. During a recent survival course, my teammates and I spent the entire day keeping a fire going in piss pouring rain. Possible keep your firewood. Quero says normally the less boreal the wood is, the better it burns. Okay. Yeah, but I don't think I want him to start the fire. Like, I want him to... I want him to try to start the fire, and then he's interrupted by Sanawind and her spirit bound. But we could say that he has gotten, Carl has gotten a fire to work on one of the days that it didn't rain, and then has kept it going through the rain until now that he has arrived back home. Like, now it's the fire's gone out. It's been extinguished. I think that's maybe my way of working around that. I don't know if it's cheating or anything, but you know, it's my story. I can write it however I want. Are you big on survival, El Cuervo? I like hiking and nature in general. I have a friend who's super into it. Ah, okay, yeah. I can imagine it. The knowledge sort of naturally spills over, right? I think I've been to a shelter once, and it was just one night with cousins. I have like a group of cousins around the same age as me, and we go out, do stuff, and drink. Which we also did there in the woods in the shelter. That was nice. So we're going to say here as. Oh, is it totally done now? Doesn't look good. Oh, there's a little bit. There's a little bit left of the ink. As Carl looked to the fireside. Is that what it's called? The dictionary just gave me a fire ring. I feel like fireside is a better thing to call it. As Carl looked to the fireside, some no, what he had been afraid of had come true. The fire they had made when it was still dry. Sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? The fire they had made when it wasn't raining. When it wasn't raining. And had managed to keep going. Managed to keep going during the last couple of days is downpour. Couple of days is downpour. Downpour. Was no more. Now he had to try and attempt making a new fire. And he was not looking forward to it. I'm gonna italicize that. Not looking forward to it. What the hell? What on earth are these letters? Oh my god. I don't know if I'm sort of just stalling right now. Actually. But I do want things to sort of happen more or less naturally. And right now I want Carl to be like really focused and concentrated on something. And then get caught really off guard by Sanwin Spiritbound in the first place. Yeah. How am I ever going to get a fire going? No. Going How on earth do you say that? How am I ever going to get this fire going? How am I going to ignite these he asked rather. Okay, this ink cartridge is done, so luckily, we got another one right here. Just as a, I guess it looks like there might be a small amount left. This is what it's supposed to be like. It's kind of cool looking at these. Guero says lit. Yeah, you could. Yeah, we could phrase like, how am I going to light these? Yeah, that's better. Ignite is more. Ignite is more. What do you say? It's more technical. How am I going to light these? He asked rather loudly. Except no one but his spirit bound was around to hear it. Except no one. Oh my god. No one but his spirit bound. Was around. To hear it. Oh my god, I don't know how to write suddenly. What on earth? What is that R? Why am I making such preschool R's all of a sudden? This is horrible. And then there's this one. Carl had a simple hope. No, not a simple hope. A small hope. That Danlu and Creirun. Danlu and Creirun. Oh, missed an E there. Would come running running with their aid. With their aid. But of course they didn't. Of course they didn't. Okay, and now it's going to happen. Wow, you can really see the difference the ink level of the cartridges has done. Like from here, where there was pretty much no more ink, and then to this, where it's a whole new cartridge. It looks almost like twice as big. Also, I somehow managed to get ink all over my fingers. God damn it. And I keep putting it down on the paper. No! It does look better, yeah. It does. It really does. Okay. Okay, so now it's gonna happen. Now he's going to be attacked by Sanawind's Spiritbound. So we need to write something little action-y now, because Carl, of course, doesn't know what's happening. This is the third page of the time skip. Just wanted to have a quick look. Carl sat down by the fireside and began to, how do you say stack? Yes, began to stack the soaked firewood the best he could remember. From when he was from what he was taught. As a little boy. As different Faean curses Arcane curses. Galloped. Galloped over his lips. Some towards the rain. Others towards his decision to leave the comfort of the realm oak. And finally some aimed at his past self for not paying attention, aimed at his past self for not paying attention. A shadow from above rolled over him. Okay. Sana wins Spirit Bound, the big reveal. Is a gecko, a flit gecko, and not just any flit gecko. It is the flit gecko. A flit gecko, of course, is something I've come up with myself, but it is a gecko that is able to fly, or at least glide, and it is indeed the flit gecko from Fly. It's the flit gecko that hatches in the beginning of Fly and then jump from the dragon isles in the sky and out the window and away. You know, that's a bit of a... I try to connect my short stories here in some way or the other. Some have a more flimsy connection than other. Some are just like from Calamity, the first story with the dwarves. It was the humans and their religion. There was a human and the human religion, and then Danger was about humans and their religion with a dragon, Parthisax. And Parthisax is then the link to the third one, which is Fly, and then Flit is now the link between these two short stories. It's just a little fun thing to like I have to sort of make them make sense in an anthology, you know. So it's not just a bunch of totally random short stories. I think it's fun. I have ideas for all 10 short stories, and I think it's cool and fun. Oh, connectivity! I love it. Thank you. I love that too. Even if it is, like I said, a really flimsy connection. Story connections. But you know, it's also like a little extra something for whoever might read stuff to discover, and I think that's fun. I always think discovering stuff is fun. Letting out a surprise shriek. Can we say that? Surprise shriek? Not really. Terrified shriek. Terrified shriek. As whatever it was that attacked Carl, toppled him over. The Fae the Fae flailed his arms like mad. To get it off. Will. Actually, this needs to be Will with all caps. Help. Cal didn't manage to yell much more. As he was being pinned. As he was being pinned to the wet forest floor. And now we're gonna have a little bit of, I think this is the first time in this story we're gonna have some thoughts. This is always, I'm always dreading to write thoughts because I write them with italics, and I'm terrible at that. My handwriting is terrible, like in general, and it's been so long since I was quite good at italics in school, but that's like 25-30 years ago. Fudge me. we wanna have like what's it called? We wanna have like Gwilfane is not coming to help because, of course, Gwilfane from his spot inside the shelter, he can see what is attacking. What's attacking Cal? When I write italics by hand, I just underdash it. Yeah. That's a much smarter way. But I was also like, as I want to rediscover how you do it, you know? And I can't do that without trying it out, without practicing it. But it is, that's a workaround, yeah, I can see that. It also makes it very, just underlining it makes it very noticeable. Like you're definitely not sure that, oh, you're definitely sure that this is italicized. That's a good workaround actually. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to embarrass myself with terrible handwriting, like I'm always doing. So how do we why isn't why isn't Gwyl coming? Cal thought as he was fighting for his life with his eyes closed. Yeah, Carl is not a fighter. Well, then I wish you luck. Thank you so much. It is beautiful, isn't it? My italics. Carl thought as he was fighting for his life with eyes closed. As the terrible beast on top of him was relentlessly licking his face. So he's basically just like a big dog, this flit gecko. I've seen worse italics, to be honest. Oh, thank you, dude. You also said, by the way, what playlist do you use for these live streams? So like a music playlist. I actually I went into can we do that? Can I show this somehow? It's all YouTube audio or copyright-free music on YouTube. I don't wanna show too much of my analytics and stuff. Let me see if we do like this. So in here in YouTube, in the YouTube studio, they have an audio library of music and sound effects. That's actually pretty good. I kind of like it. And they have specifically for you to like search for fantasy. And then we have a bunch of cinematic and ambient music. And then I just downloaded a bunch of these songs. Not just stuff that contains fantasy, but also like genre, the cinematic one. I took a bunch of these. You see there's 500-600 pieces of music here. I just downloaded a bunch of these, made sure that it has the YouTube audio library license and there's no attribution required. And then I put that into a playlist on my computer, and that's what I'm playing. So that's pretty handy. And actually quite nice, and quite cool. And it might be a good tip for others as well, actually. So 1, 22, 22. YouTube audio. Oh my freaking god, audio library. Yeah, you're welcome. Happy to share my knowledge with you guys. Oh, with you and whoever might watch this. Now, of course, I don't. So the playlist that I have going right now is like 3.5 hours long, and it's just I haven't really vetted the songs very much, so sometimes the music just does not correspond to what I'm writing or reading or whatever, and I don't really have the time, or like I don't really want to set up like a battle playlist, a quiet playlist. Maybe sometime in the future, but that's not really the point, I think. Yeah. At least not just yet. Maybe if I start to do this much more, I'll set stuff like that up. Terrible beast on top of him was relentlessly licking his face. So in geckos, they like clack. His fly. Wow, that was actually impressive that I just. So they screech and it should clack somewhere. Oh, did I change that in? Oh yeah, I changed that in the digitized version. In one of the revisions, I went from screeching. No? Screech, there it is. It clacks. So I wanna clacks. These clack, 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 clack. It's like excited noises for this creature. And it's also going to point back to Flit, as he was called. She was called. As she was called in Fly. She's not. She has a new name though. So. And that's the moment where Carl oh, we need to put the new number 104. 104. And there we go. Wait. Is that... Carl, of course, knows Sanowin Spiritbound and what it sounds like. Is that... Maybe we want ... here instead of... Oh my god, that does not look good. Carl knew those sounds. Even though it had been a while since he had heard them. Since he had heard them. As he opened his eyes, he finally saw the flit gecko. The flit gecko so excitedly no, the flit gecko unable to contain its excitement. Contain its... Come on. Its excitement. Still running its scaly toes. And wet tongue. I want to say wiggling up here actually. Wiggling. Yes, everyone can see that says wiggling. Scaly and wet tongue all over. All over him. Egg then. Isn't that? Oh, I need to be sure. Yeah, it is Egden. Sanawind and Egden. I don't know why I waited so long to reveal it, since we have looked at this document before and you could actually see his name. Whoops. That was definitely the wrong scene. I just switched to. Egden. Carl burst forth with a relieved tone, with a relieved voice. What are you doing here? Just 2 seconds. And if you're here, where's... And then he stops. And then he gets interrupted. Okay, so this is the big confrontation now. Sanawind, one of the reasons that Carl left the Realm Oak, because he realized that they would never be together. Carl's broken heart was one of the reasons. And he left, of course, without attending her wedding and without saying goodbye. So this is gonna be quite a emotional. It's gonna be quite an emotional conversation, and we'll see how it goes. It's a good thing tears never show in the pouring rain. A woman's... I've been thinking for so long what she should say to him, and I think that's quite a nice... Yes, El Cuervo, drama. There's some drama here. It may not be action, but there's drama. And I think this is a really cool, first sentence by her. The woman's voice sounded. From somewhere behind. The lizard spirit bound. Carl immediately set up. Somehow managing to push Aigden's large white scaly body enough to the side. Sana ... was the only thing Carl managed to say. So let's go over here. I haven't been writing with this on forever, have I? In a long time, with the browser window open. I hope not. Oh no, I hope not. Anyway, Sanawind is Sanawind and her spirit-bound Egden, the flit gecko, which is a gecko with wings, so it can glide. They are scouts of the Ironbark. So it's not actually that strange that she found them. Like, she is out patrolling the forests, patrolling the forest in pairs. So she is actually, her husband is the partner, her scout partner, Ironbark's scout partner. So when Carl was hoping that Dandlu and Creyrun, you can see that, Dandlu and Creyrun would come and help, that was much more unrealistic than him running into an actual patrol, an actual scout patrol. That is Sanawind and Egden and Sanawind's partner. I feel like I should probably come up with a name and a spirit bound for her husband, because it would make sense that, so they're gonna have a whole conversation about Carl just leaving and not being at the wedding, and Carl saying he just couldn't take it because he knew that he realized that the two of them will never be together. And I don't think I can have an entire conversation like that without naming the husband, even though he's not there, right? So we might need to spend some time coming up with that. But first up is the conversation between the two. I'm not so sure that you can still call me that. It's a good thing tears never shown in rain. This is fire. Oh, thank you. I actually got it from somewhere else, but I won't tell you where it was. It's a reference to something. Not so sure you can still call me that. The Faen. The Faen said, looking Carl deep into his eyes. So Sanderwind had deep brown eyes. She had dirt brown eyes. She's got a slender frame, still with a proportionally large head, and strength beyond her looks. Her hair is long and blonde, slightly more than shoulder length, and she decorates it with bird feathers found around the forest in a subconscious effort to match her soulbound egg, then a flit gecko with feathery appendages around his head. That's definitely something that we need to include. Dirt brown eyes, a big and white mouth, strong, full, dark-haired eyebrows, and a slightly longer than average nose make up the rest of Sanderwind's face. Like a nose. Sanderwind's ears are slightly longer than your typical Fae Folk, and the pointy end more pointy. So I want to say something like, we want to mention right now her, like, the facial features. Her hair, the feathers, the dirt brown eyes. Was she taller? No, she's small and slender. Actually, I want to say small and slender up here then. Small and slender. Small and slender. Looks like it's a snail. How do we say this? I think I want to say, like, we should probably also mention right now that she's a scout. So she's, like, actually in the military, and she's in the iron barks. And she's, like, militarily equipped. How would we say that? It's also because this is an important, like a really important point in the story, so I want to get it right, even though I know this is version 1.0.0. So I'm definitely going to revise and correct stuff when we digitize it. But it's still more fun to get it somewhat right first time around, right? And right now, it's just not coming to me. The ideas, the phrasings. Yeah, it's not good. Okay, I'm gonna remove this small and slender and then say Sanawind oh, this is difficult. I'm not feeling it right now. Sanawind might be small and slender in comparison to the average Fae Folk. Average Fae Folk. But right now she stood towering over Carl and his spirit bound over Carl. Maybe just over Carl, not and his spirit bound here. So towering over Carl. Her dirt brown eyes piercing her childhood friend. Piercing her childhood friend. Okay, that's not terrible, is it? I don't think so. Right. So heard about. Did I not say the scout? The scout to towering over. There we have it. She had lowered her cowl. She had lowered the cowl of her dark green cloak, revealing Actually, I think that we want to say up here, like, as his heart sunk, as his heart sunk. There we go. It revealed her face, her hair. The face, of course, was the most beautiful face that Carl had ever seen. I feel like this is a tough paragraph, like, because it's so important to this story, to this drama. I want to get it right. Even though, like I mentioned before, I know it's only draft, so we can change it later. We can always change it, but I still want to get it right. Revealing her revealing the at least to Cal most Beautiful Fae face. Even though she was scowling, is that the right word? Scowling? Yeah, I think that's the right word. Cal could still see Cal could still. So I want to really get across that he is stuck. He's still stuck in the way he sees her. Like, he's still infatuated with her, even after all these years, and even after she's married, and it's been some months since he last saw her. Maybe even more than 2 months since but we're gonna get into it, but they didn't really have much to do with each other ever since she joined the Scouts, because they went patrolling most for long periods of time, but also after she got together with her now husband. Cal has really stepped aside, or withdrawn himself is probably a better word. See her beautiful hair. Wonderfully large smile. And her long probably says imagine here instead of see, because she's not smiling. Imagine. Still imagine her. Wonderfully large smile, and her long pointy ears. Wiggle when she would laugh. But the flared nostrils of a long nose. But the flared... So I'm a little bit worried that I'm over describing her right now. But of course, it is not the final version. The flared nostrils of Sana with longer nose. I also had this idea of Fae Folk just have bushy eyebrows. I think that could be... That's like a fun characteristic. And you know, it would sort of go hand in hand with them being nature-like. Combined with frowning, bushy eyebrows. Quickly got him back. Back from his like frequent daydream or something. Because then we are also saying that, you know, he cannot let her go. Her frequent daydream. And he's still thinking about her every day. Yeah, okay, like I said, I am a little bit worried that I'm over-explaining her looks right now, because there's definitely value in explaining features as we go. Like right now, I want to start the next paragraph with something she says, and then mention that her long blonde hair already started to become wet from the rain. As it didn't have the protection of the cloak. This is a cool track. Maybe I should actually like... It's called Challenge Accepted, nice. Maybe I should actually like... Whenever... That's a very clear like a battle song. So whenever like notice a song, make it a playlist, put it into a playlist of like battle and peaceful, sad. That might be a good idea. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Lol. Okay, so what is she saying? So she's gonna be like going straight into it, right? Gonna say like, I cannot believe this is how I found you. This is how I find you. This is where we find you. Sun and wind went on. Her long blonde hair was being soaked by the rain, something like that. Without the dry protection. Of her scout's cloak. Her long blonde hair had already started to soak. Already started to soak. Sorry, I was just like, is this the third? In my head I was just, is this the third page we've written today? But it's not. It's we read like 2 pages now. This is pretty good. We're on time, having streamed for a couple of hours. Just so in the water falling from the sky. Actually, relentless, mercilessly falling from the sky. Merciless. Quero says, hey, come back. Hey, just came back. Where were we? I haven't actually gone. I don't know when you left, but I haven't gotten like very far ahead. So I've described, and I'm a little bit cautious that I might have over-described Sanawind in this one paragraph here, but that's something for future me. That's future me's problem, right? For the revision stage. Because I feel like this is a really important point in the story. This conversation and like the introduction of Sanawinth and her spirit-bound Aigden. So I wanna get it right. So there's been a lot of me just yapping about how to get it right. So I don't think you missed a whole lot, to be honest. Mercilessly. Mercilessly. There's only one L here, everyone can see that. Mercilessly. Mercilessly falling from the sky. Yeah, I can relate, says El Guero. Yeah. Lamau. Oh yeah. I'm happy you can relate, but I feel like that's definitely anyone who has tried to write a story, book, whatever. Like, I think that's maybe a really common problem. I know for my own, like, I started jotting down ideas and like I wanna make a fantasy universe all the way back in 2014. Actually, that's when I made the first document, and it took me 10 years, almost 10 years, until I started putting down words onto paper. Like, I even bought this book and this pen and just had it for like 1.5 years or something without touching it, because I wanted everything to be perfect. That's something I really actually struggle with, and something that this has helped me with, this writing it down by hand in a book and then revising it so it doesn't have to be perfect the first time. That's really it's nice that I've gotten to that point where I feel like I can just write and then I'll make it better later. But yeah, it took me almost 10 years because to just start writing stuff that was an actual story and what not background lore, world building ideas, simply just because I wanted stuff to be perfect before I began, and it wasn't, and it's not going to be, and I'm going to change stuff up all the time, and that's good. That's all right. It's just the way it is. You know, it's very much just do it, like Shia LaBeouf said. Just do it. I'm gonna write that down as a little tip. Perfection struggles. And just do it. And I think a lot of people have it right like that. So yeah, I want to say here, like we mentioned in here, like she has long and blonde hair that she decorates with bird feathers found around the forest in a subconscious effort to match the soulbound. egg than a flit gecko with feathery appendages around his head. That's a feature I definitely want to get down, because I think that's such a personal descriptor. That's so important. And I feel like we could say it here. Long blonde hair already started to soak in the water. It did say shoulder long, but I think it just has to be like long, just long blonde hair. Just deleting it from my document. Yeah. So that's something like even the bird feathers. The ones she found around the forest. She found around the forest. And decorated her hair with started to become misty. Cal had always loved how she tried to look like Egden with his fairy appendages. I want to get across that she does it subconsciously. So she's not actually aware that she's decorating her hair with the feathers to look like a spirit bound. How she like how she tried to look like match complement maybe. Look-alike. Yes, I meant look-alike. Tend to match to twin. Meh. Complement, companion, counterpart. That didn't help me much. Why is that so hard? How she tried to look... Resemble! I need to make sure it's the resemble. It's what I'm looking for. Yes. Oh, we could have mirror. Or echo. Echo, that's a good fantasy word. Or reflected, says El Cuervo. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think I'm liking echo. Try to echo. We can always change it if it sucks. Egdens. White and pink. Feathery. Appendages. But whenever he had asked about the feathers, it's about the feathers. Both she and her spirit bound had looked at him with confusion. Yeah, I think that's a nice, that's a quite nice way of putting that. And so this is what I mean with me having over explained her features in the same paragraph. Yeah, so here let's look deep into his eyes. Sanawith might be small and slender in comparison to the average Fae Folk, but right now, the scout stood towering over Carl, her dirt brown eyes piercing her childhood friend. Because now we are talking about him or her and the spirit bound looking at Carl with confusion. And now we can actually say there was no confusing her dirt brown eyes now, though. She was mad at him, right? That's much more natural than I think what we wrote up here. So, it is time to erase stuff with ink. Yay! And a whole sentence of that. But I do think this also means that this sentence is way smaller, and I like that. Her dirt brown eyes. Oh, you cannot see that there's ever been written anything here. How? What a happy coincidence. But I do think that's way, way better to have down here. The look in Sana Wind's dirt brown eyes. Oh, for God's sake. Dirt brown eyes. Right now, though, left little to no confusion. She was mad. I don't know if that's staying. Oh, you can't see it. Sorry. I don't know if that's staying. The look in Sanawin's dirt brown eyes right now, though, left little to no confusion. She was mad. She was mad. I mean, can't you sort of deduce that from the rest here? And just say, yeah, maybe. We'll probably... I'll leave it in this version, and then when we digitize it, we'll change it. Probably. Carl made a silent wish. That makes no sense. No. Just Carl wished. Wished her reaction. Would have been slightly more like that of a spirit bound. Like that of a spirit bound. Even if he for a moment thought that he was actually getting attacked. Actually. Hey, that was page 104. We're going on to 105. And that means 105. That means we have written 20 pages, if I'm not mistaken, in this book. Of course, a page here doesn't quite... I think one whole page in this book written down is like 3/4 of an actual page, from like when we count signs and letters. Like what I would call a standard page, which is 2,400 signs and letters. But that's university speak. And I'm not actually sure, because I'm not sure what's called a standard page when we're talking books. I know that a typical average book is, or what's aimed for by publishers is 50 to 70,000 words. So that you're talking words in that regard, and not signs and letters. Just thought that was a fun little thing. But I have actually counted. I've counted when I digitized Fly, I counted the words and signs and letters and put them into a sheet just to see what the average was, and it's about 3/4 of a standard page, what I would call a standard page. So, we've been going on for 2 hours and 40 minutes now. Cool. That also means that I'm actually not gonna stream for that much longer, but we do definitely want Wilfane to join them with the same happy demeanor that Aiden attacked Carl with. Actually, I want Wilfane to come real low, sad towards Sanawynt, and then Sanawynt just changing her demeanor completely and saying don't worry, I'm not mad at you. At which point he'll happily jump and greet her. Real dog behavior, even though Gwilfane is a wolf. El Cuervo says, Well, I'm going now. Gotta be rested for the driving class. Have fun, mate. Thank you. And yeah, have a good night. Thank you so much for joining me, dude. That's amazing. And well, good luck on your driving class tomorrow. All right, I'll see you around. I'm live next Monday as well, by the way, if you want to know. But yeah, like I mentioned, I am also going to end the live stream soon. I need to be rested as well. So, Gwilfane. Gwilfane had finally gotten up and joined his walk was slow and slow and low to the ground. That says ground, not ground. That's a U and an N. His eyes sad and apologetic. How? That's not how you spell apologetic. Apologetic. Apollo. Yeah. I like how I spelled it wrong in my book and then spelled it right here. Well done. Apologetic. As he approached the newly arrived scout. I want to really drive home that she is actually military. Like she's... Ironbark Scout. Like, she is not to be fucked with. I don't know what that was. It's a little dot there. How long was it yesterday? How long did we stream for yesterday? I feel like we've done some like longer streams. Yeah, almost 3 hours. The last 2 days. That's cool. So yeah, I just want to get this down. How Sanawind changes her demeanor towards towards Gwilfane because she's not mad at him, she is mad at Carl. Should she say like, "Come here, boy," like it's like it's a dog? No, but we're saying gonna say like. It's a difficult way. I don't want to have like. If we say "come here, boy," like it's a dog, we sort of cross the line into pet and master, right? And I don't want that. They're spirit bounds. Carl and Gwilfane are spirit bounds. Gwilfane is Carl's spirit bound. And Carl is Gwilfane's spirit bound. They are more or less equal. It's not a pet and master relationship. But they do depend on each other, and they do, you know, Carl is calling the shots most of the time, but he is asking Gwilfane for help. And guidance. That's probably another thing that we need to write down later. That in the Great Cycle religion, it is their belief that a spirit bound is sent back from the Amber Sleep to guide the Fae Folk. So they're old Fae Folk being cycled in their cycle, like they're being sent back to guide the Fae Folk. That's something that we need to. That's definitely something later, not within this conversation here with Sanawind, but it's definitely something that we want to do later. Yes. Okay. So of course she's going to call him by name. Don't worry. Don't worry, Gwyl. Sanawind. To the wolf with a totally changed demeanor. I'm not mad. That's an M. Oh my god. I'm not mad at you in the slightest. That was all it took. Fuck Will Fane. Fuck Will Fane to... I don't want to say we just said totally change demeanor. I don't want to repeat that. Damn it. But I do want to. I do feel like it fits here as well. Will Fane to come out of his shell? No. Can say that. I can feel my brain turning to mush, so it's probably soon is probably a good time to stop. Well, that was the plan anyway, but the plan was actually to stop like 20 minutes ago, but you know, we were doing so well. You know what? We can just say was all it took for Gwilfane, full stop, and then we go like do wolves bark? Do wolves bark? Yes, wolves bark. Barking must be significant from a dog's bark. Of course, this stupid AI overview. Generally short, low pitch, and serves a rare alarm or warning. Danger that barks often combined with howls and a small part of an extensive vocal repertoire. So they like use it for... They don't use it for expressing happiness. His yellow eyes lit up and he started jumping around. Around Salarinth. Oh, occasionally. Licking her face. He started running around. He didn't start jumping around. He started running around. So he's like getting the zoomies. Started running around Sanawin, occasionally jumping up and licking her face. Jumping up and licking her face. I've missed you so much as well. I've missed you so much as well. Wind expressed grateful to be on the receiving trying to be grateful to be on the receiving end of the spirit bounds overjoyed love. I cannot believe how long it's been. I feel like that would also lead better into Carl joining the conversation, saying something, some excuse. But with that said, I am going to end here, and it's been almost 3 hours now, and we did well today, I think. 2.5. Started somewhere down here. Where did you start? Oh yeah, we started there. Arrived. And almost 2.5 pages later, here we are. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also for you guys watching the VOD. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it inspires you to write yourself. And I will be live again on Monday next week. So yeah, just remember that we write our own stories. And have a nice time until I see you next. Bye.